Hey there, author revolutionary. Before we dive into today's episode, I have a special announcement. As you may know, I am switching gears for a while and stepping into an exciting new chapter. Starting January 1st, I'll be launching the Manifest Differently podcast. This new podcast will take everything we've talked about here, things like manifestation, living your best life, and achieving big dreams, and expand it for neurodivergent thinkers. If you've ever felt called to embrace manifestation but struggle to make it work for you, this is the podcast for you. Together, we'll explore why manifestation works, why it can be harder for some of us, and the tools, tips, and insights that will help you manifest in a way that will align with how you think and operate. To learn more, head over to manifestdifferently.com or jump right into the first episode on January 1st by visiting manifestdifferently.com/1. I hope you'll join me for this next chapter. Are you ready to manifest differently? Welcome to the Author Revolution podcast, where change is not just embraced, it's celebrated. I'm Carissa Andrews, international best-selling author, indie author coach, and your navigator through the ever-evolving landscape of authorship. Are you ready to harness the power of your mind and the latest innovations in technology for your writing journey? If you're passionate about manifesting your dreams and pioneering new writing frontiers, then you're in the perfect place. Here, we merge the mystical woo of writing with the exciting advancements of the modern world. We dive into the realms of mindset, manifestation, and the transformative magic that occurs when you believe in the impossible. We also venture into the world of futuristic technologies and strategies, preparing you for the next chapter in your author career. Every week, we explore new ways to revolutionize your writing and publishing experience. From AI to breakthrough thinking, this podcast is your gateway to a world where creativity meets innovation. Whether you're penning your first novel or expanding your literary empire, whether you're a devotee of the pen or a digital storyteller, this podcast is where your author revolution gains momentum. So join me in this journey to continue growth and transformation. It's time to redefine what it means to be an author in today's dynamic world. This is the Author Revolution podcast, and your author revolution starts now. Welcome back to the Author Revolution podcast. I'm so excited to bring you today's guest, Daniel Den. If you're ready to break out of the marketing box and become uncopyable in your author journey, you're in for a treat. Daniel is the mastermind behind the X Factor Effect methodology. He's helping authors and business owners differentiate in a way that truly breaks through the noise. He's going to share some incredible insights about creating experiences around your books, becoming a unicorn in your niche, and stacking your differences that make a difference. We're talking innovation, disruption, and how to stand out in this crowded publishing world. Plus, you're going to hear about Daniel's epic interactive book box experience. It's next level brilliant. Trust me, I've gone through the box, I've gone through the book. It is super fun and includes so many aha moments that you're going to want to race out and get it right away. So buckle up because this episode is packed with actionable advice that you're going to want to implement right away. So let's dive in. Well, hi, Daniel. Welcome to the Author Revolution podcast. I'm excited to speak with you today. I'm so ready to break out of my marketing box, and you have some very cool stuff here to be able to talk about. For those who are listening, I'm pointing to the box behind me, literally. But before we get into all that, do you want to describe to my audience who you are, what you do, all the fun things that you are involved with?
Carissa Andrews, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with all the other indie publishers on the Author Revolution podcast. And this is the place for the disruptors in the industry. So
Right?
I'm excited to help with the disruption. Let's disrupt together. Let's break through the noise together. The very quick story is for the past 12 years, I have been able to help over 20,000 students and clients. We started that with my business partner down in Brazil. So a lot of them came out of Brazil and then across the world. And then now with our newer stuff, we're helping a lot of people in the English speaking market as well. But the whole basis of everything we do, it's all about disrupting. It's all about our X Factor Effect methodology. And I found the need to differentiate and do things differently when I had a website right around 2009 where like I was planning my retirement, Carissa. Like, so 2009,
I love it.
Daniel did. Um, and so to give you an idea, 2009, I was what, 27 years old. So young, ignorant, like, all right, I'm gonna retire off of this website type thing. And for 6 months, like I was just raking in the dough. And I had multiple days where I was making like $1,000 profit off of this website, which in 2009 dollars is like, I don't know, that's like $5,000 a day today.
Right? I agree.
It was like, whoa, this is amazing. Um, Eventually, after about 6 months, I had somebody completely rip the website off. Like they copied the entire website.
Oh my gosh.
And that copycat competitor turned into three, then turned into five. After about a year, it probably surpassed right around 50 competitors. Some people
Wow.
create their own versions of the site with their own graphics, and some people would create their own copy modified off of the copy that I had written. And then some people would just completely rip off my website, images and
Oh my gosh. That's
just the
crazy.
whole thing. Just like when all was said and done, I probably had 100, maybe a bit more than 100 copycat competitors. And I realized this need for figuring out how to become uncopyable,
Mm.
differentiating to the point where you're breaking through the noise, yes, and then stacking your differences that make a difference. And then, so for the past 12 years with our X Factor Effect methodology, that's what my business partner, Pedro Superti, and I helped so many people do is we help them do things differently, but different in a way where they became such a unicorn inside of their niche that they kind of became like untouchable.
Right.
And that's where we got a lot of people to go from struggling and being copied to becoming market leaders and category kings and category queens. And some of those people are authors as well. So there we
That's so
go.
awesome. I love that so much. Okay, so you've talked about the X Factor methodology. So let's go back to that. And do you want to describe a little bit about what that is and how people can apply it?
Yeah, sure. And then I don't know which episode this comes out as, but you just had Roy, author of Be Different or Be Dead, Roy Osing. He was just on, and you guys had an amazing conversation. And so the cool thing is Roy has his methodology for being different, and his methodology for being different is different
Right, right.
than my methodology for being different.
Go figure on that. We're working out like that. That's so strange.
We knew that, like, so for example, when it comes to authorship, right? So some of us indie authors that are listening today, Carissa, some of the fans of the revolution may have read like the Blue Ocean Strategy. Okay. The Blue Ocean Strategy is one strategy for differentiation, right? Go after the blue oceans. Technically, when I started working with Pedro down in Brazil, I was born in the United States. Portuguese is my second language. I went after a blue ocean opportunity because Pedro and I were starting to do things differently with our marketing and with our sales and everything. And we saw this need for differentiation and nobody was talking about it. So it was an absolute blue ocean for us, what we did. And that's why we were able to grow so big. But we eventually learned as we helped more and more people differentiate that the blue ocean strategy, as amazing as it is only one way to break through the noise. And there's actually a lot of need to break through the noise in red oceans. So most of us as authors on the Revolution, the Author Revolution podcast, your listeners, Carissa, we are in red oceans. And so, yes, blue ocean is good, but how do we differentiate in red oceans? And so our methodology encompasses, hey, sure, you can go after a blue ocean. You can go after red ocean. You can follow that strategy. But our methodology, we're different in the way that we are different because we teach you how to stack your differences that make a difference. So we have 9 main pillars of differentiation. Can be applied to small business, can be applied to authors writing books, creating content in general, growing a following on social media. But we have 9 main pillars, and inside of those 9 main pillars, we teach you how to stack your differences that make a difference. And you don't have to follow all 9 pillars, but once you've followed like 3 or 4, and you're different in like those 3 or 4 or 5 different pillars that you followed, you become such a unicorn that you kind of, just like Roy was talking about, you have, your oneness about you in a big way, not a oneness where it's just like, oh, like I've got like a guarantee or something that nobody else has.
Right,
But
right.
like unicorn level of being different.
I love it. Can you describe a couple of the pillars so that my audience knows what they kind of look like, what they would be?
Yeah. So we'll use Carissa and
All
the
right.
Author Revolution podcast as an example,
Cool.
because Carissa is doing an amazing job at following a lot of the pillars. So one of the things that we do is we teach you to start to build that tribe. And through the revolution, the author revolution, we've got a lot of indie authors that are part of Carissa's tribe. And people say like, oh, you got to build a tribe eventually, but like it's work. Carissa knows how much work it is. It's not
Oh,
easy
yeah.
to lead you indie authors and
It's like
bring
herding
people
cats.
together. Yeah. It's not easy to be like, hey, let's jump on a training together. Let's do a meet up. Let's do a meetup at an event. It's not easy to do that. But once you have that, once you start to build that as a differentiator, people love community. And with too many brands and products and services in 2024, there is no identity. There is no community. There is no prestige in buying that product or service because it's been overlooked. And so that's one of the great pillars that Carissa has been able to apply. On top of that, we say, all right, other than lead your tribe, we say, join the age of experience. This is a good one. Because in 2024, if we're being honest with ourselves, we all have too much stuff. We all have access to as much stuff as we want, thanks to
really
the mass
do.
production that happens in China. Things are just mass produced, and then Amazon, Walmart, they just made it too easy for us to fill our homes with as much stuff as possible. So lots of us, we, including myself and my wife, we started to adopt like more of a minimalistic lifestyle where we still buy things, but we buy certain things, and in that category of certain things that we buy, they usually include a great experience, because we're all sick of stuff, but we're not sick of amazing experiences. And so we say, join the age of experience. Realize that one of the biggest differences that you can do inside of your business or as an author is bring people an experience that they can only get through you.
Right.
So that's 2 of the 9 pillars.
That's amazing. Is that where your idea came for? The ideas that influence your actual box? I mean, you have the book that goes with it, right?
Yeah.
Which is amazing. Same title, right?
Yeah.
But the experience then, like someone could technically take a look at this book and be like, they did with your website, copy the book, but you've created an experience in the box that, how would they, without the exception of, maybe they buy it from you and then try to mimic it, but that's just silly because it's just amazing. All the different little pieces and components that you put together. I mean, there's so many different cute little things in here that I can't wait to dig into. So do you want to explain the where that came from, the idea came from, and all the good things about it?
And this is impactful for authors. Now to create an experience around your book, you don't have to do it to the level that I've done it. I so when people buy from my website, like they're getting a deal. So you're getting this entire box experience. And yes, the whole purpose of it was, so I wrote this amazing book called Ideas That Influence, and it's all about coming up with big, bold, wildly successful marketing ideas that break through the noise, which is one of the pillars for the X factor effect is your messaging. You need messaging that breaks through the noise, messaging that grabs the attention of your dream customers and says, this is what you're looking for. So that's what Ideas That Influence is, the book. And I wrote it, and it was in the editing process, and I self-published it. But amazing editor, she was helping me. Her name's Lori Lynn. And I was like getting ready, all geared up to launch it. And I was like, really, Daniel? As amazing as this book is, am I going to launch my book? We're the X Factor Effect guys, right? We teach how to disrupt. Am I going to launch my book just like everybody else?
Right.
I said, of course not. Of course, I'm not going to launch it like everybody else. So I was hanging out with some friends in a mastermind in Mexico, and the idea came to me that I needed to turn this entire book into an experience. And instead of launching another business book that was a free plus shipping business book, I needed to launch the very first free plus shipping interactive book box experience. And that's what I've done. And the whole purpose of it is you read the book, and then at certain points in the book, you're given access to open different envelopes, and you get presents and tools and surprises that facilitate you following the advice in the book so that you can have killer messaging as well for your books or for your businesses, and wildly successful marketing ideas as well, so that when you go to market your book or your business, then once again, you are the person that is capturing the attention of your dream customers. So yes,
that's so genius. I love it.
I had to do things differently.
Right. That's so genius, though. And one of the things that's cool about that is it keeps them engaged, right? It keeps them engaged in the book, keeps them reading to the next part where they can open the next present or the next envelope or the next thing. And then it gives them that dopamine hit too, right? It makes them go, woohoo, what's happening now? It's like checking your messages or checking, all the things that happen when you're on a call, when you come back to your phone, and all of a sudden you're like, yes, this is so amazing. That's such a great idea. Like, where did that whole concept come from? Was it literally downloaded in your brain at that mastermind, or were you kind of fleshing it out before
Yeah,
then?
I would say, it came from somewhere up there in the clouds.
Right.
There was definitely a pillar of inspiration. I don't know how metaphysical it was, or if it was by association, because I was sitting next to, so at that table, I was sitting next to Mark Stern, and he owns Custom Box Agency, and he is amazing at helping people. So if any of you indie authors want to go down this route, now it's not cheap. You need to have the mathematics. If you're going to do it to the level that we've done it, then you need to have the math in your business make sense. You need to have usually a back end inside of the business to make things profitable, or you just need to charge more on the front end. So just so that we don't dissuade people. So I did buy a book from Michelle Cunningham, and she did a very simplified version with an experience with her book. And I forget the name of the book, but I think it's called Do It Anyway, Girl, or something. So yeah, yes, Daniel Denbot. Let me look it up. Well, Michelle Cunningham book is Do It Anyway, Girl. Hey, I said it right. There we go.
Excellent. Good job.
So I bought it off of her website, and it comes in this like neon sparkly pink package. I should have kept it so I could have shown it to you. Oh, but here's the book. I have the book right here. So this book, Do It Anyway, Girl. So it came to me in the mail in this neon pink sparkly package. And I get it. And I didn't get it out of my mailbox. My 11-year-old daughter, she got it. And she runs up to me and she's like, "What is this? What is this? What is like?" And just she's like, "Can I whatever's inside, like open it." And then she's like, "Can I keep the packaging?" Like she wanted to keep the packaging. Anyway, I open it. It's got a special thank you note from Michelle. And it was like, yeah, just an experience, but a much simpler experience,
Right.
an impactful experience. And what these experiences do for our books is that, above all, it helps increase our consumption rates. Because at the end of the day, with as many books as you have sold, Carissa, what we don't like is when people buy our book and then don't read it.
Right? Why would you do that? That's
Why
blasphemy.
did you? Now you have let's see. So one of your books, let's see, it's let me get back to my notes. It has 1,000. I just looked it up today. I don't even know if you know this number. So Midlife Wolf Bite, you have 1,052 reviews on Amazon. Incredible, incredible, which means
It's a fun book.
people are having a great experience with that. But what we now, I don't know what type of analytics you have with the ebook version, but do you know what the finish rate is, more or less?
I do not. I don't think I do. No.
I think we can kind of get those numbers, and if we I think within Kindle,
It depends on how people are reading it. So if it was in Kindle Unlimited, you'd be able to see because
yeah.
you get paid by page reads, but I'm no longer in KU. So everybody has to purchase the book. And so
There you go. Oh, they
you
get the
would you would
physical copy.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, not just a physical copy. They have to purchase the ebook, literally purchase it instead of going through the Kindle Unlimited subscription. So with KU, you can see how many page reads are coming through and kind of get an idea of how many people would have finished it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know that there's any way to be able to tell otherwise.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of what I've heard just having lots of conversations with incredible people like you, Carissa. Lots of times we're not getting a consumption rate more than 20%.
Okay.
So if 1,000 people bought my book, then I should not expect more than 20 people to have actually read them, which is really bad.
Right? You're like, why?
Why?
That's so sad.
Now, those numbers differ from fiction to nonfiction, but it doesn't matter what the actual number is. I wish we actually knew, but this is just like kind of what I've heard. And this is to set expectations for all of us indie authors. So if it's 20% fiction or nonfiction, the numbers are, from what I understand, lower for nonfiction. So my type of book, generally speaking, so this is a business book. Like you get people that buy hundreds and hundreds of business books, and then maybe they'll read 10% of the books that they have on their shelf, right? Which, it just happens. So,
So you got to make it really cool looking so that they want to open it and see what's going on, right?
yeah, exactly. This is where we're getting into the experiential aspect. So what Michelle was able to do was she was able to like hype people up in very simple, cheap ways through the experience with the book. And what that does is it increases consumption. And with my book, it because I put even more experience into it, it dramatically increases consumption. I have people that just because like the box comes with like sticky notes, like they're showing me like I finished the book, it's amazing, and then they're like showing all the sticky notes. I have sticky notes all through it, and I'm like, yes, people are actually reading my book. This is so cool. And
And
what it
taking
does,
action too. That's even cooler.
exactly. So what I can share is this, and this is helpful for all of us as authors. Out of the first buyers, I tracked my first buyers, and 1 out of 3 of my first buyers. Now, some of these were bigger, like some of my bigger fans. So just that's the caveat, right? But without me asking them to, 1 out of 3 of my first buyers were posting about the book and the box experience on social media without me asking them to. They bought it
Fantastic.
and they posted, they were commenting, posting, doing unboxing videos, which for an author, those types of numbers are absolutely incredible. Like you
Right?
just don't see those types of numbers in 2024.
Hey there, revolutionaries. I have some thrilling news to share with you. After months of planning, Write Your Reality is officially gearing up for its big Kickstarter launch. If you're ready to transform your author career through quantum manifestation, mindset mastery, and aligning with your highest potential, you're not going to want to miss this. The Write Your Reality pre-launch page is live now, and I'll be announcing the official Kickstarter launch date very soon. This is your chance to join an exclusive community of authors who are ready to manifest their dream careers. And backers will receive access to exclusive rewards like meditations, masterclasses, and even lifetime access to certain courses and memberships that aren't available anywhere else. So head over to authorrevolution.org/Kickstarter to join the waitlist and be the first to know when this Kickstarter door opens. Let's make 2025 the year you step into the author career you've always dreamed of. Go sign up and let's do this thing together. That's so
And
amazing too. And it makes you feel good because you're like, yes, I've done something right. And they're so excited about it.
exactly. Now, so since we're all trying to get as many readers as possible, we all have really big goals. The whole point of me sharing that number is this. Those fans sharing about their experience generates more fans, more sales, more consumption all around. Because if I post an unboxing video for whatever I receive and then I don't consume the content, I'm kind of being a little hypocritical.
Right? A lot hypocritical.
And so I have seen, I don't know what the consumption rate is because I've gone so indie that like I'm so I want people to get the experience and I don't even have the option for people to buy this on Amazon yet. So
Okay.
since I'm trying to get people to buy from my website and buy the box experience and go through my sales.
Honestly, that makes the most amount of sense anyway. I mean, as an indie who's been in this industry for 12-ish, 13, I've lost track of years, too many years. Seeing
2010, 14 years.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. So, but I've seen it go from, where everyone is like all in with Amazon. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, they're kind of deciding Amazon's not the be all end all. We're going to go wide instead. We're going to go on all the retailers to like even last year. The big shift was going direct and having your own direct store because we're realizing that in order for us to truly tap into our entrepreneurship and put that hat on and earn what we should be earning from our books, we have to do it from our own stores. And so I think, I mean, you doing it the way you have, and then maybe eventually putting on Amazon, that makes total sense because you're creating the experience you want. You're building your your community, your readership, and everything's coming through you. It just makes more sense, especially looking back from my perspective, going, that makes perfect sense as to why you would do that. Mm-hmm.
Retroactively. Well, thank you. Like, so some people say I'm crazy. Like, Daniel, this is so cool. You're crazy for not putting on Amazon yet. Calm down. I'm gonna eventually, but I got to start by
Being
because
different.
yeah. So I'm doing things differently, and I need the math. I need like as much customer information as I can get because I'm myself going back to the X Factor effect. I am building a tribe around people who they want to do things differently. They want to do their marketing differently. They're looking to break through the noise. And it's a lot easier for me to do that when I'm controlling the sales process and when I'm controlling everything that happens. So yeah.
Well, yeah, because then you can even like nudge people on. You can help them to remember to go back to do it. I mean, there's so many benefits to that process where it's like now you've got your touch points to be able to pull them back into that world and help them to remember that this is an important piece that's going to help them elevate to the next level. Because like you said, if the readership is so low, especially with nonfiction, it having that opportunity to lift them up and to remind them that it's there is so important. From a fiction author, mostly fiction author, I even enjoy that myself. I've seen, my sales go up because of the sales funnels I have on the back end of my Shopify store, and just saying, hey, how did you like that book? Did you read book 2 yet? In book 2, here's what's going to happen. You get all excited if you haven't,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's like, that makes total sense to me.
Yep, 100%. And you can do fun stuff. So like I get phone number, I get email, I get the shipping address. Like I can send them additional stuff. Like I've got all their information. So
Right.
one of my favorite things, a very X factor thing to do, is if you've ever heard of the tool called Bonjoro. It's have you heard of that one yet?
I haven't. No.
All right. So it allows you to you hook it up and you get notifications. Like you can get, you can put some automations in there so that you can kind of get notified every single time you make a sale. Which you probably are all already paying attention to your sales anyway. But the app, Bonjoro, it says, hey, you got somebody else, send them a thank you video. And it's,
Oh, wow.
of course, I can shoot a video on my phone and I can like text somebody from the number that they supplied or send them an email, but it's a very automated, simple way to do it. So I'd say you're probably through their automation doing things about 3 times faster. And then you can have templates and calls to action with those personalized video messages. And so my next phase of everything that I'm doing to build upon this experience, because we're in the age of experience in 2024, is to incorporate Bonjoro. And right now I'm on my website, I'm getting about 3 to 4 orders every single day. And I'm going to start videoing like thank you, hey, every single day, hey, thanks so much, and here's a reminder that here's your welcome video, and if you're ever interested, here's a reminder that we have our X Factor strategy group. And then that's the first video in a sequence. And the whole point of this is, hey, we're building the experience, we're building the tribe, we are increasing consumption rates, and we are increasing the possibility that people are going to say amazing things about us because we're blowing them away that the author is sending them a quick thank you video.
Right.
So.
How great is that? I've seen authors do that like before the age of having your own website really and selling direct from your store became popular. But I've seen like at the end of a book, for instance, and it's probably nowhere near as effective as what you're doing, but like at the end of a book saying thank you, like where it's like click here for a thank you video from the author in the back of the book kind of thing.
Nice.
That's phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
If you want to double your everything,
Right.
then you got
to go next level.
Yeah, you want to do stuff like this. Like people, so I've done it before with some of my other courses, and people are like, oh, holy smokes, like can't believe it. And then the watch rate for those personalized videos and the open rate, you'll get some of the biggest email open rates because you can have it emailed to them. Hey, Daniel Din just sent you a video. The open rate's phenomenal. Like, okay, they just bought from you, and then it says Daniel Din just sent you a personalized video. So the open rates are like, I mean, it's like 50% a lot of times,
Right.
which for email is just like, what?
Right. Right. I can completely understand that. Yeah, it seems like, oh, the emails just pile up. Oh, it gets crazy. I totally understand. And how cool is that though? Because it's a personalized video, it makes sense why they'd want to go over and be like, what is he sending me? What's happening here?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
But yeah, for anybody interested in that, it's Bonjoro, Bonjoro, like kind of sounding French, but not
quite.
Almost French.
Yeah.
Bonjour, but Bonjoro. Anyway, so Bonjoro video messaging, and that you can.
That's neat.
There's even a free version of it. Yeah, I think you don't have to pay like until you get like I think past like I don't know, like 50 messages or something like that. So
That's really cool. Wow. Nice. Gonna have to take a look at that myself. Okay, so I'm curious. Obviously, you've been doing this for a while. Do you know of any like common marketing mistakes that authors are doing that maybe they could avoid or could switch up by utilizing ideas that influence?
yeah, so one of my favorite examples in the book comes from it's nonfiction, which I know you're helping a lot more nonfiction authors nowadays. So
Yep.
it
Yep.
all works. But this can be applied to all of it, right? So let's see, what's his name again? Oh yeah, that's right, John Gray. So the example in the book is from John Gray, and so John Gray, he is the author of the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Now, if you go on Amazon right now and you look at how many different relationship books there are like too many.
A lot.
It's like if it's not in the millions, I know it's in the hundreds of thousands. Okay.
Right.
So statistically, if you're going to be in the top 1% of those books, you're still not making enough sales to make a living. Like you need to be in the top like 0.5% for relation. There's just too many relationship books. Like every single day, like just more and more and more are being published. And so it's not about being in the top 1%, it's being in the top 0.5% for you to like really have an impact. But John, with his book, he had at one point the best-selling nonfiction book of all time. Okay, so this is like really good. Like, wow, like how did he do that in such a competitive niche?
I was working at the bookstore when that was all going down too. I was working as a retail bookstore bookseller at the time, and it was like
there you
nuts.
go.
It was mental.
That's a cool story. Wait, so that was in what year was that?
Oh gosh, I have no idea anymore. It would have been in the 90s somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, that's in the 90s.
I want to say 97-ish,
Wow.
maybe 96. I don't know, somewhere in there.
There you go.
It might have been earlier than that even. I'm not sure.
Barnes and Noble.
Idea. Yeah, I was working
Barnes
at
and
a
Noble.
little tiny bookstore in my
Nice.
city. Yeah, a little mom and pop one.
That's
Continue.
Cool. We had Books a Million in the 90s and then Barnes and Noble popped up. Anyway, now we're getting off track. But the whole point is what? Like John Gray, he kicks everybody's butt and he gets the top selling, best-selling book, nonfiction book, at least at the time of all time. So the question is, why? When it comes to the lens of the X factor effect and the lens of breaking through the noise, why did he do things differently? Well, if you read the book, his relationship advice is very similar to everything else that is out there. But the difference is that he has the analogy that men are from Mars and women are from Venus. He has a very sticky concept. And his whole methodology is based off of this analogy that men are from Mars and women are from Venus. And people say, wow, that is different. That is interesting. I'm not forgetting the name of this book. I wonder what he has to say. And what broke through the noise was the stickiness of the analogy and the fact that he used evergreen relationship principles as the base, which all relationship books today in 2024 that work, they're based off of the same principles that many other authors have written about. It's all the same stuff. That's the point. It is the same. The principles don't change, but the methodologies, the stories, the examples, the analogies, they can change. So I love to give the example of all of us as authors. we are given the same set of ingredients. The inspiration that we get from the universe, we all have access to it. We all have our, MacBooks or, whatever, right?
Right.
We all have our access to the AI tools. We have our access to all of the other books in our niche that could give us inspiration. We have access to all the stories that we could use as examples. And then we have our own personal stories and the stories of our friends and family, et cetera. Those are different, but they're going to be very similar stories to the others that are out there. But the way we mix all of those elements up and present them, that's what the difference is. So if you and I were both making a cake, Carissa, your cake would be incredible and delicious, and my cake would be just normal chocolate cake with white icing, because that's what I do every single time.
All right.
That's what I'm good at. A chocolate cake with white icing. And it's good. Yeah. It's good. But it's not as good as Carissa's cake. It's not
my keto cake.
Sorry, say that again.
My keto cake. Mine'll go on.
There you go. Ooh, see, and that's already different. Your keto cake already different. Because mine's full of not good stuff.
Is cake ever really good for you?
Lots of sugar.
It's just tasty.
There you go. So, when in 2024, we're all struggling because we're all getting caught up in the sea of sameness. But we have these examples of people who stick out in very unique, different ways. And what we want is those X factors, and we want to stack those X factors inside of whatever we're doing in a way that we really stick out. We're memorable. We're creating those experiences. What we're doing is enjoyable. It's different in a way that our dream customers love. When it comes to writing, so we're all in red oceans now. In 2024, there are very few blue oceans. We're all writing,
right? Especially in indie publishing. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So the question is, what makes you different? And think outside of the book, right? Think outside of so Carissa, she has an entire community. As you're going to write and publish your newest book, which is, let's see, it's I have it written right here. Don't say it. Okay, say it.
Reality.
Right? Yeah, there you go. I was like, the second I said,
say right at the same time.
I had it right there. Yeah, write your reality. So you already have a differentiator. You already have multiple X factors around the launch of your new book, Write Your Reality. Why? Because you've got the podcast, you've got the community, you've got people that you've been helping to reach their $1 million ambitions as authors. And so you already have X factors. You already have authority behind it. And then who knows what else you're going to come up with when you go to finally launch Write Your Reality, that in addition to that enhances the experience and enhances the fact that, yes, it's a book, just like everybody else, red ocean, we're selling books, right? But here are the 10 reasons why this is way more than a book, right?
Right. Well, I'm going to do a Kickstarter for starters. I don't know what it's going to look like yet or what's going to go into it, but it's going to have more than just the book.
That's a differentiator as well. And that's marketing, and that's planning, and then the messaging behind it. So how are we going to message it? What's the messaging that's going to be different than everybody else?
Right.
So
that's so good. What advice would you give to those people? Obviously you gave me a little bit of clues into what's going on with my stuff, but if there's an author who's just kind of starting the marketing process of their next book or their first book, what advice would you give them to get that started, other than obviously get moving on doing all the the exercises and things inside your box?
Yeah, so I unfortunately have been in the funnel world for too long.
Is it
I
unfortunate though?
well, it's great. It's great. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, too many people. So when it comes to math, um, if you can afford ads, you're going to sell a lot more books as long as your books break. As long as your ads break through the noise and really captivate the attention of your dream customers. To be able to market and scale ads. So, like, we all know that we're supposed to be jumping on podcasts and talking about our books, and then we're supposed to be talking about it with all of our friends and family and communities. And, there's lots of ways to advertise. But if we can get into ads as well, then it makes it like light years faster how many books you can get out. That's the whole point. But in 2024, everybody and their dog can set up an ad account, which means that is more expensive than we'd like it to be. So I got started with the internet in 2007. Ads were cheap in 2007. Okay. Way cheap compared to 2024. And so the only way to be able to get into the world of math and testing your messaging faster and faster with ads is you need to add stuff to the back end. So it can be as simple as we have this group that we meet with, twice a month for the fans of the series, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Most people, they just get into their own heads and there's like, well, I'm not going to try that. What's the worst that can happen? You get one person to sign up and then you're like, well, we tried it, it didn't work, so now we're going to try something else, right?
Right.
But what's the best that could happen? Oh, we have 500 women that are paying $9.95 a month as part of our book club. Wow, that's a lot of money now that I have that's $5,000 that I can reinvest back into ads so that I can sell more books so that I can grow the community. Right. That's pretty cool, right?
Right. Well, and some people, like, I know a lot of people who are like, pay for a book club, but that seems to be a trend that's going on these days where it's like, yeah, if you want access into this world and you're dealing with the author and you're talking about the things, come in and pay it, but it's just so nominal. And I'm like, that would never have occurred to me until just this year. It was the first time. It's so interesting.
Down in Brazil, so my Pedro was like, I want to do this book club. And I'm like, all right, I know we're going to sell, but like, really, it's a book club. Like, we're going to meet once a month and talk about a different business book or whatever. We sold a lot of people in that book club.
Yeah, right. It's like they want that accountability and those people to have that experience of discussing it with. It's really interesting.
If I remember correctly, it was like 900 people. Now we had a big following and everything, but 900 people, but what was the catalyst that allowed us to do that? Well, once again, we had set up everything on the back end of what we were doing so that we could afford to do ads.
Right.
And so it's math. I will not be able to afford ads selling my book to you for $10 because it cost for nonfiction business owner clicks on Facebook and Instagram. Like lots of times you're spending like $3 per click. So the math doesn't math, right?
Right.
Fiction books, that's completely different. And it's not like you can get clicks, as low as, 25 cents sometimes because it's more niched and you're going after specific people that, it's just cheaper. It's a cheaper audience to target. But still, those 25-cent clicks can add up. And because they add up, anything that we do to, bring people together, to give them more, whatever, then it all adds upon itself so that it allows us to do much bigger and cooler things and provide people with amazing experiences inside of our tribes. So
would your advice then be to to be coming at it? Like if you're a new author and you're marketing a new book or a new series, would it be to be looking at then like the entire system before you launch anything, just to make sure that you are incorporating more of an experience, incorporating more of that X factor to help them to tap into something bigger? Because I feel like a lot of authors will just write the book, throw it out there, hope the ads are going to help them make it work if they're doing ads, or hope that some magic thing is going to take the book and have it go. Someone is going to do a TikTok for them, or something else. Is that what I'm hearing? That you're like, no, look at the entire kind of solar system around your book to try to figure out what's going to happen here?
Yeah, two of the X factor pillars that we didn't mention yet are enter the offer matrix, which is all about creating offers that other people don't. So create amazing, desirable offerings in addition to your book that others nobody else in your red ocean is doing it.
Right.
And so when you get those, let's just be frank here. So when we get the boomers that are absolute fans of Midlife Wolf Bite, a lot of them have so much money set aside that they don't have anything else that they can spend their money on.
Okay, sure.
Not all of them,
because they have their house, they have their kids,
yeah,
they have all the things. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Like it's like when I go to buy stuff from my mom and dad for their birthday and Mother's Day and Father's Day. There's literally nothing I can buy them
except for an experience, right?
Yeah, except like sometimes they will ask me to not buy them more things because, well, they're sick of stuff as well. And that's when you have to get into the experiential and all that. So anyway, but the whole point is these boomers, like my parents, they have money it's burning a hole in their pocket. They don't know what to do with it. And so when the 10% of our dream readers are those people that they're looking to be entertained, they're waiting for the next book to come out in your series, and they're looking for more, like you will be absolutely shocked at the take rate from some of these people, even if it's like you're offering something that costs $500 on the back end or $1,000. Like sometimes take rate is just, it'll blow you away. You're like, how did this happen? And why haven't I been doing this the whole time? And so two of the pillars that, there are 9. I don't know how many we mentioned so far, but we mentioned at least 3. So 2 of them are enter the offer matrix, which is all about creating offers that we just mentioned there, and then sexy up your sales process. Sexing up your sales process, that is all about having more than just buy the book. Right. Buy the book, plus buy the experience, plus buy the group, and then you're offering all of it to them.
Right.
And you just don't know who's going to take what. Right. So yes, it's about reverse engineering it and doing math and saying, okay, if I do have this really, really cool thing on the back end of my fiction book series, and let's say the most expensive thing is $297, but it's really cool and people are going to absolutely love it. And then you reverse engineer it and you're like, what if 10% of people took this? Well, they're paying $9.95 on the front end. Everybody's paying that for the book. And then if 10% of people take the $297 offer, that gives me $30 extra per buyer that I get in order to build the community, do more marketing, and sell more books. And then you start to go from the author who has sold 50 copies to the author that every single day you're selling an additional 5, 10, 15 copies. And then that over time, it's like, oh, before we know it, we blink and we've sold thousands of copies of our book. And that puts us where? In the top 1%.
Right.
Now we're becoming known. And now people are saying, when's the next book coming out? And then things start to get really exciting. And it's because we were very strategic and we built experiences. We built a tribe around our books, and we built a really sexy sales process that gives us the math to scale our book business.
the one thing I like about books too is that evergreen factor too, because if we are so like, for me anyway, head down, doing the thing, writing the books, listening to our readers, and we're only focused on the publishing side of things. And now all of a sudden they're like stumbling on you, Daniel, and they're like, oh my God, I wish I would have done this. The cool thing is they're evergreen. You can always have that brainstorm session and build the processes around what you've already created. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, and it's like the hard part was done. You did the book. Now like make the experience around it and make it work. It's that reverse engineering thing was like so key. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes we're just not dreaming big enough. I mean,
I agree.
we're downloading really cool ideas from the universe. And then sometimes it's
It's
like,
only part of the message. It's
wait a
like,
second, wait a second, wait a second. I'm downloading these ideas that are just massively, like just wildly cool and exciting. And then not even realizing that like we're thinking small, right?
right? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but you're downloading these amazing ideas. Like, what the heck? Like, think bigger, right? Why?
But
Just
sometimes
think.
it's like we were talking about, I can't remember if it was before we started or not. There's like only so much space and time and memory that we can hold things. And so we have to do things kind of one at a time. And so
Right.
I think
Yeah.
sometimes we're given the information we need at that particular moment. And then eventually all of a sudden it shifts and you're like, oh, that's what I was building this whole time. Okay, now I
Yeah.
get what I was doing. Now we can start linking this all up together.
Well, and then, but like, if we have the passion like Carissa has to like really get our books out into the world, we have to realize that that the like we are shooting for the top 1%. Like,
Right.
so out of you listening to the podcast today, there are 99 other people that you are competing against. Okay. And one of you is going to create the tribe and the experience, and the other 99 are not. Right.
Mm-hmm.
One of you is going to figure out the math and figure out the messaging and be different in a way that breaks through the noise. And the other 99 are not. They're just going to use AI to help them write another story that just is more of the same. We've got our vampires, and, and then there's the vampire, and then there's the love part, and then
And we'll include all the things
someone gets pregnant, and
with a magical baby.
magical baby,
Right.
and I wrote Twilight. I did it. I've done it. Oh, but dang, Twilight already exists. So there we go.
Right, right. That's funny. Well, Daniel, we've talked about a lot of things, and I absolutely am enamored with this like, whole experience thing. I'm going to be digging into it myself this like basically this coming week is what my goals are. We talked about the fact that things have kind of shaken up for me, and so I'm just like all in. I can't wait to experience it, to go through it. I'll probably start talking about that in the intro or the outro of this particular podcast once it airs. I can talk about my experience using it. But thank you so much for being here, for sharing your knowledge and wisdom, and giving my audience that nudge to think differently, because I think it's so powerful. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, and then this episode, along with Roy's episode, just like, hey, yeah, like, hey, differentiate or die. Like,
Heck yes. Where can my audience go to find you too? Like, where did they go to get this box and like start working on this right now?
perfect. So yeah, this is cool. Like, so this book experience that's going to help you come up with these wildly successful ideas, and we have actually a few different author examples inside of the book as well, because the book at the end of the day, it's about your marketing messaging, and your marketing messaging when you're an author, it's unavoidable that it's part of what you're actually writing in your own book. So we have lots of book examples in the book, along with other marketing examples and examples of amazing marketing from billion-dollar companies. And then examples
So
from our
cool.
students as well. And so book examples, one book example from one of our students. Anyway, lots of cool stuff. But the whole book is, and the book and the box experience is free plus shipping. meaning you're going to get this amazing box experience
I
shipped to
love
your
that.
just by paying shipping and handling. If you're in the United States, currently, as of this recording, it's just $19.95 shipping and handling, which actually is how much it costs us in shipping to send you the whole thing out. So anyway, and then as you go through the funnel, then you'll see like, oh, okay, so that's how Daniel's doing it. He has these other things that you can tack on to your order, which makes it so that the average person is spending more so that I can afford to give away this amazing experience. And so, yeah, if you go to bigideasbox.com, then you get the whole thing shipped to you for free plus shipping. So there you
That
go.
is so awesome.
Bigideasbox.com.
Trust me, guys, you're gonna want to dig into this. It is absolutely phenomenal and so much fun. Like it's whoever was your designer did a great job, by the way. It's just so cool. I love it. I love
Thank
the
you.
little idea button with, like when you have a cool idea, you push the button to light up the light bulb. I mean, what great ideas. It was so ingenious. It was great.
It's got a light bulb. Hey, this is why everybody should buy, because the box comes with a light bulb. There you go.
Right? And that was the only reason. That's it.
No, that was easier said than done. We had to make sure that we didn't like cause a fire hazard or whatever, but and we did it. We did it.
Good. Well, Daniel, again, thank you so much for being here, for being such a fun guest to talk to. I will definitely have to bring you back because you have so much knowledge.
Thank you. My pleasure, Carissa. You're amazing. The other indie authors that are listening, you all are amazing, and let's disrupt together. Let's make the world really a really cool place with our unique ideas that break through the noise.
What an incredible conversation. Did I tell you it was going to be great? Daniel's perspective on creating experiences and thinking outside the book is actually what we need as authors to rise above the noise. So if you want to grab Daniel's Ideas That Influence interactive book box experience, make sure you head over to bigideasbox.com and start tapping into those wildly successful marketing strategies. Now, I will include it obviously in the show notes, but before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to share once again something very important with you. This episode is the second to the last of the Author Revolution podcast for a while. As you know, if you've been listening to me, you know that I'm shifting gears and I'm stepping into a new chapter that feels deeply aligned. So starting January 1st, I'll be launching the Manifest Differently podcast under the banner of my new venture, the Neurodivergent Manifestor. So it's going to be all about manifesting your creative dreams in ways that honor who you are and how you're wired. Something I know many of us actually need. So mark your calendars and keep an eye out for Manifest Differently. It's going to be amazing. And if you consider yourself to be a neurodivergent thinker, neurodivergent manifestor, I hope that you'll follow me over to the new podcast. Of course, I'm not going anywhere when it comes to teaching authors as well. It's still going to be a thing for me. This podcast will have episodes coming out from time to time. I'm just not committing right now to when. But of course, keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on the space. You never know. I might just pop up in your thing like a specter out of the blue. And of course, if you want to get more information, the links to Daniel and all the things that we've been talking about in this episode, head over to authorrevolution.org/266. It will all be there for you. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of this journey. I can't wait to see you again soon on the Manifest Differently podcast. But we've got one more episode left. It's my Christmas present to you, so hang tight. And until then, go forth and start your author revolution. Hey there, revolutionary. Before we dive into today's episode, I have something super exciting to share with you. If you've been struggling to find your breakthrough moment and you're ready to take your author career to the next level, I want to invite you to check out the High Vibe Author Membership. It's my new membership packed with transformative courses, powerful meditations and hypnoses, and a supportive community that's here to help you manifest the abundant author life you've always dreamed of. Head over to authorrevolution.org/high vibe to learn more and start your journey to success today.